Darkspeed held on tight to Vector as they both went smashing through wall after wall. They were almost 100 feet over the streets of London as they burst out of the side of the building. Darkspeed tightened his hold and was sure Vector could no longer breathe. With all the cars below, he knew he couldn't keep the darkness around them on the streets. He hoped that the blood flow to his head would stop soon. How long will it take him to pass out? Darkspeed thought to himself. Vector calmly maneuvered them in mid-fall. He made sure he landed feet first. Darkspeed felt his head bounce off the pavement on the street. Vector didn't miss a beat as he ran with Darkspeed sticking out to his right side. Darkspeed felt the first innocent bystander on the street strike his head and chest. The blow looked like it cut him in two. Vector was using Darkspeed as a weapon against the people on the streets of London. Darkspeed gripped tighter as he hoped Vector would fall. Vector didn't fall. Instead, he aimed at a mother holding the hand of a small child. In the mother's other hand were groceries from early morning shopping. Darkspeed knew the mother and child would be obliterated if he struck her at that speed. Darkspeed let go with his legs and quickly found the ground. He never let go of Vector's hand. His boots skid under him as he changed both of their momentums. Darkspeed was able to yank Vector off of his feet and spin him up and into the air. Darkspeed finally threw Vector as hard as he could back into the hole high in the side of the HQ. "Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!" Darkspeed yelled loudly as he ran up the side of the building after Vector. Vector was back on his feet, waiting as Darkspeed entered the semi-destroyed floor and ran straight at him in a suicidal fashion, commanding his attention. Vector raised his golden arm and pointed his index finger at Darkspeed's head. Angry lightning erupted around Vector from behind. Ion was now fully transformed into lightning and wrapped his electric self around Vector's trembling body. The Australian boy put his all into delivering as much damage to Vector as he could. Darkspeed knew Ion wasn't fast enough to keep pace with him or Vector. That's why he told him to retreat if Vector was able to hurt him. The young Alpha knew he had to make the most of this surprise. Darkspeed's headlong running turned into a tackle and hit both of Vector's legs low at the knees. Vector fell as his knees buckled backward. Darkspeed rolled over and on top of the two. Ion's electricity was everywhere. Darkspeed felt the pain in his exposed left shoulder. His arm instantly came up to protect the open portion of his costume. Ion's lightning power was fully unleashed on Vector. Vector's flesh burned as Darkspeed started wailing on Vector with his free arm. Blow after blow landed as a bleeding Vector tried to deal with the pain of the lightning. For the first time, Vector was in real trouble. Vector's golden hand spread 5 fingers in all directions just over his own chest. The black beams cut through Ion's body and Darkspeed's legs. Ion's lightning form quickly retreated deeper in the building. Darkspeed instinctively made the room dark and rolled off of Vector. Vector knew his legs were hurt and he couldn't stand. "I think we've had enough father and son bonding for one day." Darkspeed's legs hurt badly, and despite his regeneration ability, he had lost a lot of blood. Still, he sat up and looked over at Vector in the darkness. Vector was reaching for his belt. Darkspeed aimed his in-gun at Vector for one last shot. "Why don't you stick around for a while, Dad?" Darkspeed said as he shot Vector in the face. Vector disappeared in a silvery flash. In the place where he sat, he was replaced by a large metallic object with a counter that read .0010 seconds. That was 25 seconds in Darkspeed's time. Darkspeed knew the device must be some kind of bomb or something equally bad. Darkspeed's legs were not going to help him with this one. He rolled closer to the bomb and rolled again until he had his hands on it. The casing was hard and the bomb looked like it was made to take a hit. Where will this do the least damage? Darkspeed thought. The pain showed on his face as he rolled onto his knees. Darkspeed took the bomb and threw it straight up as hard as he could. The bomb broke through several floors before coming to rest just under the hangar levels. The bomb exploded with a force that destroyed the top of the Heroes Union headquarters and collapsed all of the debris back down onto the levels beneath them, but the lower levels held and didn't collapse. Darkspeed found himself unable to move under the rubble. The pain in his wounds caused him to black out. Cosmos was the first one back from accomplishing his mission. He and Glimmer looked on in shock at the smoking and burning HQ. "HQ has been hit," Glimmer said into her earpiece. "Darkspeed and Ion were in there waiting for Vector. Rescue them if you can, and be on the lookout for Vector," Omni said over Glimmer's comm. "I heard," Cosmos said. Cosmos extinguished the fires and started to remove the rubble. He reinforced the rooftop of a nearby building as he sifted through the remains of the top floors of the building. Soon, he was able to bring Darkspeed out of the building. Immediately, he pulled him close to his bubble with his telekinesis. "Don't bring him close to you until you take off his mask, verify his identity, and check for traps." Glimmer said. Cosmos used his power to pull back his mask and reveal Darkspeed's unconscious face. What do you mean by traps? Read the material around him. Look for bombs, nanites, nerve agents, biological... Glimmer was cut off. I get it, Cosmos said as he scanned the material around Darkspeed. He has some kind of nanites on him. Glimmer to Omni. Darkspeed has nanomachines on his person, she said into her earpiece. Those are safe. I told him to put them there, Omni replied. I heard him, Cosmos said as they pulled Darkspeed into the bubble. This is Ion. I'm with Wave in Tokyo. Is Darkspeed all right? Glimmer responded into her earpiece. This is Glimmer. We're taking him to a healer. Bioforce, where are you? Cosmos said into his earpiece. Mumbai, India, Bioforce responded. The bubble streaked across the sky and slowed just off the Indian coast. Cosmos looked at his in-flight navigation computer for some direction. Where are you in Mumbai? Cosmos asked. Flare, show him where, Bioforce said. Cosmos looked for a flame over the city. Glimmer spotted it first and pointed where they needed to go. Seconds later, the bubble touched down next to Bioforce. What happened to him? Bioforce asked as she put her hands on him. He tried to fight Vector again, Glimmer said. I bet Vector looks just as bad, Cosmos said. His regeneration is the only thing that kept him alive. He's almost dead, Bioforce said. That and his costume, Glimmer said. What? Cosmos asked. The oxygen rebreather in his costume. If he didn't have his hood over his face, he would have suffocated under the rubble. Yeah, that would have been bad. Cosmos, I need you back at HQ. We have work for you, Omni said over Cosmos' earpiece. We have to go. Will he be all right? He'll live. Now. I'll get Virtuoso to bring us back when I'm done, Bioforce said. Cosmos and Glimmer streaked back across the sky. Omni, Arthur, and a host of other Alphas were standing outside of the HQ. On the streets, emergency vehicles were seen to civilians hurt or worse during combat. Cosmos landed and opened the bubble to talk to Omni. No time for niceties. Rebuild what you remember and improvise the rest, Omni said as he pointed at the wrecked building. Is everyone out? Cosmos asked. Yeah, now hop to it. Cosmos only surrounded himself in a bubble and rose above the damaged HQ. He knew what most of the rooms were supposed to be. He reached down and felt where the damage had destroyed parts of the building. The lower floors seemed intact. That included the hall with the old hero stuff. Cosmos was glad to know that. I need to do a complete rebuild. Something sturdier with sub-basements, he thought to himself. The building flashed into the super steel alloy Cosmos liked to use. The building floors started reappearing one after another. The hangar was the last floor to be remade. Cosmos added another 5 floors for good measure. He also decided the command center should have been bigger, with more planning rooms off to the sides. Elevators and secret passages, and sub-basements, and a hatch out of the ready room, and electricity and fiber optics, and plumbing, and on his mind raced as he tried to make the project as complete as possible. I thought they said he was building bridges in seconds, Arthur said to Omni. He's trying to remake it better than before, Glimmer said. How do you know that? Omni asked. I've been paying attention to how he thinks. That's nice. Just make sure you keep your precognition tuned and duck his head if Vector shoots at it. I won't let anything happen to him. I'm sure you wouldn't. What's it been, 20 minutes? Arthur asked. You want an unfinished HQ or what? Olympian said from behind them. Back from your mission? Omni asked. The ones who could fled a little while ago. The leader of the Toronto Hall said I could go. A few minutes later, Cosmos landed next to the other heroes. I'm all done. You still need to bring some computer and lab things in. I don't know how to make that stuff. This is good, Arthur said as he walked into the new lobby of the HQ. What are the new levels for? I left 4 blank and used 1 for us. What do you mean us? Arthur asked. Those of us from the Academy and the Fracas hitters have been sleeping in a glorified storage room. This way we have a place and can stay here for a longer time if needed. That's fine. You need to go with Prism and help her put the labs back together. The quicker that's up and running, the better, Omni said. Darkspeed woke in a hospital bed in the new HQ infirmary. His costume was replaced by a white hospital gown. Bioforce was sitting in a chair next to his bed. It lives, she said. How do you feel? Grateful we have healers on our teams, Darkspeed said. Cute. Really, how do you feel? I feel good, like waking up in the morning. Good. Cosmos fixed up your costume. If you feel like it, I can show you where the others are, Bioforce said. Darkspeed sat up as his mind started working. Is Ion okay?